A soft current moves through the cosmos as AstroPrinciple guides you into the ancient sutras of Graha Yuddha, where planets draw close enough to whisper their intentions. In this timeless space, you learn to sense the subtle war of brightness, proximity, and influence, not as conflict but as a deeper law of celestial balance. As you listen, the soul steadies, the mind clears, and the path ahead becomes illuminated by planetary truth. You might think, what is Graha Yuti then? Well, let me tell you quickly so you know the difference between Graha Yuti and Graha Yuddha. Graha Yuti occurs when two planets occupy the same sign or the same region of the sky, usually within about 8 to 10 degrees, 8-10 degree of each other. Their energies blend and interact, creating cooperation rather than competition. It is a meeting of qualities, not a battle. Graha Yuddha is different. It happens only when two planets come extremely close, typically within 1 degree of each other, and begin to compete for expression. Their nearness creates tension, and the planet with the stronger visible brightness becomes dominant while the other becomes subdued. In this video, we explore this deeper phenomenon of Graha Yuddha and how this subtle energetic contest shapes the flow of expression. Aries feels the pulse of Graha Yuddha like a spark against steel, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense when two planets come too close, stirring your inner fire. Your ruling Mars teaches you to observe not just the clash but the outcome, reminding you that the brighter, steadier force always prevails. This period encourages you to slow your reactions and watch the subtle shifts in your ambitions. When planetary energies tighten, your instincts sharpen, guiding you toward choices that honor courage without haste. You may feel a surge of competitive energy, but the deeper lesson is to channel it into clarity rather than conflict. As you understand the nature of planetary war, you learn to recognize when to advance and when to hold your ground, allowing your inner flame to burn with purpose rather than pressure. Taurus senses Graha Yuddha as a quiet tremor beneath the earth, and AstroPrinciple helps you understand how planetary closeness affects your stability. Venus, your ruler, teaches you to observe the soft glow of planetary brightness, revealing which influence is stronger and which path is wiser. This period invites you to ground yourself before making decisions, especially when energies around you feel compressed or intense. You may notice subtle shifts in relationships or finances, not as disruptions but as signals to refine your values. The planetary war reminds you that strength is not loud. It is steady, patient, and enduring. As you tune into these celestial cues, you learn to choose comfort without complacency and growth without strain, allowing your inner landscape to remain fertile and calm. Gemini experiences Graha Yuddha as a dance of thoughts, and AstroPrinciple guides you to observe how planetary proximity influences your mental clarity. Mercury, your ruler, teaches you to notice the brightness of each planet, revealing which message carries more weight. This period heightens your curiosity, but it also asks you to filter noise from truth. You may feel pulled in two directions, yet the deeper lesson is to let the stronger insight lead. Conversations, ideas, and decisions may feel charged, but this is an opportunity to refine your voice and sharpen your discernment. As you understand the nature of planetary war, you learn to navigate duality with grace, allowing your mind to become a clear channel rather than a crowded crossroads. Cancer feels Graha Yuddha like a tide shifting beneath the moonlit surface, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense how planetary closeness affects your emotional rhythm. The moon, your ruler, teaches you to observe the subtle glow of each planet, revealing which influence shapes your inner world more deeply. This period invites you to honor your sensitivity, not as fragility but as intuitive intelligence. You may feel waves of emotion rising and falling quickly, yet each surge carries a message about balance, boundaries, and inner truth. Planetary war reminds you that even in celestial tension, harmony can be found through awareness. As you tune into these cosmic signals, you learn to protect your peace, nurture your heart, and move with the tides rather than against them. Leo feels Graha Yuddha as a flare of solar intensity, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense how planetary proximity influences your inner radiance. The Sun, your ruler, teaches you to observe which planet shines brighter in the celestial sky, revealing the victor in this subtle cosmic duel. This period encourages you to stand in your truth without overpowering others, even when energies around you feel competitive or compressed. You may feel a surge of ambition or a desire to reclaim authority, yet the deeper lesson is to let your light guide rather than dominate. Planetary war reminds you that true strength is steady, warm, and unwavering. As you tune into these celestial cues, you learn to lead with clarity, protect your vitality, and honor the balance between confidence and humility. Virgo experiences Graha Yuddha as a tightening of mental threads, and AstroPrinciple guides you to observe how planetary closeness influences your analytical flow. Mercury, your ruler, teaches you to notice the brightness and steadiness of each planet, revealing which influence carries more clarity. This period heightens your attention to detail, but it also asks you to avoid overthinking when energies feel compressed. You may sense conflicting priorities or mixed signals, yet the deeper lesson is to let the stronger insight rise naturally. Planetary war reminds you that discernment is your greatest strength, especially when the cosmos feels crowded. As you tune into these subtle shifts, you learn to refine your routines, protect your mental space, and choose precision over pressure. Libra feels Graha Yuddha as a delicate shift in harmony, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense how planetary proximity influences your relationships and inner balance. Venus, your ruler, teaches you to observe the glow of each planet, revealing which influence brings peace and which brings tension. This period invites you to restore equilibrium, especially when energies around you feel competitive or emotionally charged. You may notice subtle shifts in partnerships or creative pursuits, not as conflict but as opportunities to refine your boundaries. Planetary war reminds you that balance is not static. It is a living rhythm shaped by awareness. As you tune into these cosmic signals, you learn to choose grace over reaction, clarity over confusion, and connection over comparison. Scorpio experiences Graha Yuddha as a deep internal stirring, and AstroPrinciple guides you to observe how planetary closeness influences your emotional intensity and transformative power. Mars and Pluto, your rulers, teach you to notice the strength and brightness of each planet, revealing which influence shapes your inner landscape more profoundly. This period heightens your intuition, but it also asks you to release the urge to control outcomes when energies feel compressed. You may sense hidden truths rising to the surface, not to unsettle you but to empower your evolution. Planetary war reminds you that transformation is born from awareness, not force. As you tune into these celestial cues, you learn to channel intensity into insight, courage into healing, and depth into renewal. Sagittarius feels Graha Yuddha as a widening horizon of meaning, and AstroPrinciple guides you to observe how planetary proximity shapes your search for truth. Jupiter, your ruler, teaches you to notice which planet holds greater brightness and steadiness, revealing the dominant influence in this celestial encounter. This period expands your curiosity but also asks you to refine your direction when energies feel compressed or conflicting. You may sense a pull between exploration and focus, yet the deeper lesson is to let wisdom lead rather than impulse. Planetary war reminds you that growth is not chaotic. It is guided by clarity and intention. As you tune into these cosmic signals, you learn to trust your inner compass, honor your spiritual path, and move forward with purpose rather than restlessness. Capricorn experiences Graha Yuddha as a shift in the architecture of discipline, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense how planetary closeness influences your long-term plans. Saturn, your ruler, teaches you to observe the strength and glow of each planet, revealing which influence shapes your responsibilities more deeply. This period invites you to refine your commitments, especially when energies feel tight or demanding. You may feel pressure to restructure your goals, yet the deeper lesson is to build with patience rather than urgency. Planetary war reminds you that endurance is not about resisting change but adapting with wisdom. As you tune into these celestial cues, you learn to strengthen your foundations, honor your boundaries, and move steadily toward the future you envision. Aquarius feels Graha Yuddha as a shift in the currents of innovation, and AstroPrinciple guides you to observe how planetary proximity influences your vision for the future. Saturn, your ruler, teaches you to notice which planet holds greater brightness, revealing the dominant force shaping your ideas. This period heightens your desire for change, but it also asks you to ground your insights when energies feel compressed. You may sense tension between tradition and rebellion, yet the deeper lesson is to integrate both with clarity. Planetary war reminds you that breakthroughs emerge when awareness meets intention. As you tune into these cosmic signals, you learn to refine your ideals, strengthen your voice, and move toward transformation with both courage and wisdom. Pisces experiences Graha Yuddha as a deepening of intuition, and AstroPrinciple helps you sense how planetary closeness influences your emotional and spiritual tides. Jupiter, your ruler, teaches you to observe the glow of each planet, revealing which influence shapes your inner world more strongly. This period invites you to trust your sensitivity, especially when energies feel blurred or overwhelming. You may feel waves of inspiration or uncertainty, yet the deeper lesson is to let the clearer, brighter influence guide your heart. Planetary war reminds you that intuition becomes stronger when grounded in awareness. As you tune into these celestial cues, you learn to navigate emotion with grace, honor your dreams, and move gently toward inner clarity. A quiet stillness settles as AstroPrinciple guides you back from the sutras of Graha Yuddha, reminding you that planetary war is not a battle but a revelation of strength, brightness, and cosmic rhythm. As you carry this understanding forward, your awareness deepens, your choices sharpen, and your path aligns with the timeless harmony of the celestial laws that shape every moment of your journey.